Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of Hiring Diaries. Today we have Nirav Brahmbhatt, who is the Chief People Officer at iFedora. Hi Nirav, welcome to the show.
Hey, hi, good morning. Thanks.
So why don't we first start with your role at iFedora and what iFedora does?
iFedora, it's the US healthcare revenue cycle management organization where we help our clients, which are typically the US healthcare providers, doctors in our term. So we help them with their managing the revenue cycle, taking care of their entire billing process, medical coding, what we doing, and ensuring that they get their revenue, they get their claims processed on time. My role would be building the organization not for today, tomorrow. It's for a long-term perspective. So keeping them upgraded with the challenges which is going to come in the future, so that we are able to sustain and our client also be able to sustain in the competitive world. Bringing the culture where we hire a lot of freshers in the organization and aligning them with the business goals, aligning their career goals, and taking them to the next level. That's also the thing where from the HR we have to focus, we have to take care of. And obviously, like making the place, iFedora is one of the best place to work for. We have 1,500 plus family members, so making them one of the best workplace where they feel like, yes, this is the organization we wanted to work, we wanted to start our career. That's the role, and that's where I'm focusing currently. Yeah, over to you.
So I think, great introduction, by the way. I'm wondering if you are able to explain about the prospects of this industry, because I think for a lot of us, for a lot of our viewers, this industry is rather niche and it would be new to a lot of people. So what is it like to work in this industry? Is this growing aggressively as a market?
Yes, definitely. It's the industry, and we typically misunderstand it with the standard outbound calling or the BPO industry. But it's something different. Yes, we are into outsourcing business. It's eventually the outsourcing organization. But it's not only we get into the operational process where we have to see a lot of process improvements. We have to see a lot of individual interventions while we work. So it's not the 5 steps we just, okay, tick, 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 followed, your work is done. No, there are a lot of, because each patient or each claim form carries its individual value, right? So there are certain fields will be different, there are certain things would be different. Yeah, we use the automation, we try to automate so that the manual work would be reduced and our employees would be able to focus on the expertise what they are carrying. But at the same time, it's not the operation, only the operational thing where we have to focus. So as I said, like typically our focus is that doctors or the US healthcare providers should be able to focus only on their patients, not on the other part. So the entire back-end operations, which is starting from processing their claims, processing their billing activities, medical coding, which is again the complex thing, right? Managing this, dealing with the insurance providers, following up on their claims, and if there is any denial, putting up the claim again, giving them the consulting on that part, like how they can avoid the certain denials, how we can improve at the time of initial steps, where while we do the eligibility verification or the benefit verifications, those steps are done correctly, so the later denial chances would be reduced. So helping them with the process improvements, that's also the part what we are performing. It's not only as the moment we get the claim form or the prescription, we just code and then put it to the next step. No, that's not the thing. So industry is moving, and obviously it's linked to the healthcare. So certain sectors where we will see there is always a demand in the market, right? People, no matter whatever the situation there, they would be they would be spending on their healthcare because that's a necessity, right? So that market is going to grow, and that's where there would be higher demand. Population is increasing, people are needing the better healthcare, considering the lifestyle or considering the other situational changes which is happening. people are needing it more and more. So eventually, this industry is going to grow. And considering the fact where the outsourcing part, where we have our expertise in the country, the place where we are, we do have this advantage, multilingual people. We do have our reasoning capability, where the number crunching, I would say. So this is adding to our advantage, and this industry is definitely going to take it to the next level. The advantage is that for the people, those who are starting their career, is that it's just they need to come up with the open mindset. They want to get into this industry. They do not need much of the prior expertise or much of the prior understanding about the industry to start their career with. So there's a lot of opportunity for the freshers as well to get into this industry and build their career. So yes, this is the part, and yes, future is definitely bright for this industry.
So how do you think about the company culture? I think on your LinkedIn profile, there's quite a mention of your passion in setting the right culture. What is your strategy for setting the right culture at the organization, and how do you describe it?
Okay, so setting the right culture is I would say, like it's what is there in our DNA. And so I'll tell you a bit about the history of this organization. So organization have started with 5 employee base, and gradually we have grown, and in the last 3-4 years we had seen the multifold growth. Okay, so we were into settling phase. We were just going slow. Now we have picked up this pace, and then we are growing rapidly. Having said this, while we are growing, as I said, it's an industry where a lot of freshers can join, can contribute, and can grow their career. So while we are having the freshers getting into the organization, and while we see this, they come up with a different mindset. They come up with different aspirations. They have their own goals, aligning it with the organizational goal, aligning with the industry where we are, and setting up the process where or the culture, right, where all of us work together, all of us see the common goal, see the common culture. That's critical. On top of this, what happens last couple of years, I'm sure all of us, it was a tough time for all of us. We had a lot of work from home conditions, which is coming up. So many of the people, those who have joined us, and then I'm sure like it's no matter what we debate, and then we see like what is best, work from home, work from office and all. But for any fresher, while we see, right, getting into an environment, starting their career, it's definitely a necessity that they get that initial mentoring, they get that work culture, they get their ecosystem where they can start learning the things, they start understanding the industry domain beyond their operational roles. So setting up also things that becomes a necessity, and when we were missing in last couple of years, now things are getting back to normalcy. People are coming to the office, they have started operating. So a lot of they have to come out of their comfort zone. While we are at home, you have flexibility in terms of many of the things. You are alone at home, you can behave, you can work, you can set up your work desk, your timings as an individual. But while you're back to the organization, it's a difficult thing. It's a different situation, right? So aligning it with the ecosystem, aligning with the co-workers, that's also a necessity. And that's where this kids, I would say, they are experiencing their first job, and they are getting into this environment. And that's really necessity. And as I said, like we have grown organically. So the leadership team, what we see today in our organization, they all of them have joined as a fresher in this organization, have reached to that stage, and that's the where we have the in-house leaders being developed. So that's where we are focusing, and while we are recruiting a fresher, for us it's a critical, because we see that person as a leader for tomorrow. Maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, they would be having the leadership position in the organization. So for each fresher, that's critical. They understand the organization, they understand the organizational culture, what's our DNA, and they align it with this, so that it's eventually going to help us to build the right leader. That's where our focus is.
Understand. No, thanks for that explanation. So what I'm trying to figure out, I think a lot of companies that we talk to are dealing with this candidate short market. Now, is that candidate short market also valid in the fresher area or in the fresher industry that you're hiring from? And if so, how are you dealing with those challenges?
Yeah, so candidate short market, that's common across be it any of the industry, be it any of the stage where you recruit. So while we see that yes, we have freshers, that's the major intake what we are having, and we do not have any restrictions in terms of the qualification category and all. So it on the surface it looks like okay, it's an easy market to tap. There would be a lot of people available, but while we actually look at the numbers, things are not different than the other industry or other segments. So yes, we do have challenges coming up. I would not say the challenges would be equivalent to the other industry, but yes, we also do face challenges attracting the talent or fulfilling our requirements. But yes, a couple of things what we does and which is helping us to build the right talent pool for to us to consume is we have set up the requirement in terms of uh, uh, I would say like the competencies what we require. We have termed it as something is the trainable competencies, or which is must to have at this particular moment while we recruit, and good to have. So we break it into three categories. So once we see that okay, yes, this individual is having the basic required categories, and then I will tell you what are the things we are looking at. Number one is that this individual should be open to learn. Uh, and should be flexible to work into different time zones, and taking this career option as the long-term career option, not the stopgap arrangement. So once we see these three things in the individual, we have training program. We enroll this people for a training program, so which is the 1 week long, which is the generic training, and then we have the on-the-job training, which is typically takes 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the individual process or the type of work what they are going to do. So this 4 to 6 weeks long training program where we groom them, as I said, like we recruit a lot of freshers and be it from the any domain. So we have created a robust training program which helps them upskill themselves and bring it to the speed or bring it to the level where they can start working as an independent resource. So primary focus is that attracting those people, those who are open for learning, open for a work, and converting them. We have tried initially to see the 100% match, or not say 100%, 70 to 80% match, and we were not able to get the right talent. So we have changed it to a place where, as I said, like those three things, if somebody is meeting the other skills, if they are 30-40% match, we are fine with this, and we invest on the training, grooming them, and onboarding them, which is a shorter time rather than waiting for 2-3 months to wait for the right fit. It's always better to get the people those who are open for learning and trainable, groomable, and spend 4 to 6 weeks on their grooming, their upskilling, and start onboarding them. So that's the thing what we are using at this particular moment.
And how do you see automation and software playing a role in some of this?
Okay, so automation and software, that's the critical thing. I would say at this particular moment, while we are saying like we do not have a filtration in terms of what is their qualification, what is their percentage, what degree they are getting and all. And after that, filtering them on certain parameters which is the needed thing. So since we do not have filter, we get a lot of applications, and each applications we at the surface we wouldn't be able to know it where which is the right fit for us, which is the candidate where should be investing our time. So that's where the AI based tools, that's where the automation will help us to shorten our gap, the gap in terms of filtration, like okay, which is the profile we should be picking up, and investing our 4 to 6 weeks in the training, because it takes a lot of time, effort, and the cost to pick up the person, spend 4 to 6 weeks, and eventually it's turned out to be a case where it's a no-go. It's already we have wasted 4 to 6 weeks. We have invested a lot of time and cost, and our leadership team is also investing a lot of time in terms of grooming them. So that's where we see a tool or a software or AI based automation system which is going to help us, and it's helping us in terms of selecting the or filtering out the right people, so that we have an understanding, and based on that we take a call that okay, which is the profile to be taken it to the next level where we can invest our time and effort. That's why yes, that's going to be the huge advantage for us.
Definitely. And let's talk a bit about your own transition from a very large organization into now a small to mid-size organization. How has that role been different for you moving across?
Okay, I'll tell you. So I was working with an organization which was well known, and into the established industry. And yes, obviously there is also higher demand in terms of the resources. So that's where we were focusing. But transition from there, because that's a set industry, and then spending more than a decade, I thought of like, okay, there are certain challenges what I wanted to look at forward, and I'll tell you the reason. I'll tell you the short story on this as well. So that was the time of a pandemic where a couple of my ex-colleagues and a close friend from the school time, they were having their own IT setup where they were working, they were having their employee base of 50, 100, and suddenly the pandemic came. And initial couple of quarters were difficult, and after that the market have started opening up, and then things were getting back to set normalcy, or I would say like moving towards the advantage for the IT industry. But initial couple of quarters was difficult. The recruitment, they were not having clarity. Employee engagement, people dealing with the tough times at personal level, how to deal with those situations, aligning with the business, aligning with the employees. Also things were difficult. So and unfortunately, the smaller setups do not have a focused HR team or a focused area where they would be able to have a team or ecosystem where they would be able to invest a lot of things in terms of the HR. So that was the tough time for them. So they approached me like, okay, as a friend, like, okay, what we should be doing and how we should be able to cope up with the situation. And I started spending time understanding their situation, spending time getting to know what is actually on the ground happening, what the setup, and then it gradually started developing an interest in terms of yes, this mid to small size setups also having a lot of challenges and having a lot of scope of work. I would say better scope of work, because that's where, yeah, on the surface level it looks like okay, bigger organization, they have bigger setups and all, but when you accumulate all this small to medium size employee base, that's a lot of people working in this segment as well. And it's a society at a large. If you see, there are a lot of people affected with this. So I've started working towards the small and medium sized organizations, and a couple of organizations where I've helped them setting up certain pain areas, and eventually I've started developing interest. I've moved from tier one organization to a smaller organization, and considering that there would be a larger challenge and a better scope of work. Coming to this organization, while I've seen, yes, technology is something I would say is used over here as well, but might not be the level which is used with the tier one organization. But I would say the shift which I had observed, right? So technology, using it as a tool to process your day-to-day operations, or supporting you in managing your operational transactions. Now the shift is towards the decision making. Earlier there used to be like, well, when you talk about any software or any tool, let's take an example for recruitment, right? So talent acquisition space, earlier it used to be, yeah, the better tool would be which helps you to capture the applications, which help you to capture the different stages of your recruitment, which helps you to maintain your database. But now things have changed. Now the better tool would be considered like which helps you to take the decision, filtering the profile, suggesting you what could be the next step. So the shift has happened, moved from the operational transactions, maintaining it at the operational level, to the decision making, and that's going to be the future. And then eventually, not only at the recruitment space, talent acquisition space, it's going to be the all other area where it's going to help you with the decision making. And I would say yes, up to certain extent, that's going to reduce your manpower requirement. But eventually, that's going to help you to focus on your core area rather than maintaining the operational things. You would be able to focus on your core area which is eventually going to help you take the right decision at the right time. And with the right intervention, you would be able to perform better as an HR fraternity. So that's where I see the shift from a supporting a tool to a decision making tool. That's where the technology is shifting.
Definitely. And I think it's pretty inspiring that you've moved from a role in a large company to lead entire HR or the people role at a pretty large but mid-sized company. What advice would you give to people who are working in the HR industry and want to see a similar rise in terms of responsibility and career growth?
Okay, yeah, I would say a tricky question because for an individual, we in the HR, what happens? I'll tell you, like where you choose HR as a profession or a career. See, we always see this. Okay, HR is the one you should go. They will be helping with your career building. They will helping you with your XYZ problems, and then they will help you with setting up certain things. They will help you maintaining your payroll. They will help you with your recruitment team and all. But eventually, when HR as an individual, while you see who is going to help you with your career building, who is going to help you with maintaining your performance, who is going to help you with giving you the right advice. And that's where we are missing. We as an HR, we always focus on supporting the organization. Nothing wrong in this. That's what our role is. But eventually, sometime we have to sit back and think that, okay, what is I am expecting from this career? What is my career goal? Where I want to see myself 5 years, 10 years down the line. So we always ask this question to at the time of recruitment, and we decide on certain parameters, and then we take a decision. But have we asked this question to ourselves, like, okay, where I'm seeing my career, where I'm seeing myself 5 years, 10 years down the line? So see, each organization would be having their own challenges. Each organization would be having their own advantages, disadvantages, and the career what you have to choose, it's on the parameters. I always give three things which an individual or any of the freshers which is coming to me, like, okay, which kind of organization I should be getting into, or where I should be working, whether should I take up this job or not. So one thing is that first, is the organization giving you learning opportunity, which is going to help you to build your career? Number two is the social recognition. Like, okay, many times in the society where we see that, okay, yes, I'm working for certain role, certain job, and I'm satisfied with it or not, but it's more of the peer pressure or the family pressure, like, okay, you should be working with this organization, you shouldn't be working with this organization. But if it's a decent organization and you feel like, okay, yes, this is satisfying my criteria, this is satisfying my expectation or family expectation, you should be going ahead with this. So this social recognition, the kind of work what you are doing, the kind of role what you are performing, and it's giving you the earning opportunity which you are looking for, maybe today, tomorrow, or day after. But these three things, if it's satisfying, your learning opportunity, social recognition, and the earning opportunity, these three things satisfied, you should be getting into this organization, no matter what is the size of this organization, no matter what kind of role you are performing today, or no matter what they are paying you. But three things, if your checkbox are ticked, you should get into this organization. Yeah, individual level pay, you might be having different parameters being set. What is the earning expectation you do have? What is the societal recognition you are expecting? Or what is the learning opportunity you are looking for? That you can have your individual parameters being set. But these three things, these are the three parameters where you look for while you decide to start your career, or while you move from one career to or one organization to another organization and take a call. These are the three things, I would say.
Definitely. I think that's great advice. That's a great framework to think about as more people want to grow their career in this industry. I think it's been very interesting to learn from your experience. It's a very different kind of experience than I have seen in the past. Rising from a large organizational role in a large organization to lead the HR function at a mid-sized organization. It's been great talking to you, Nirav. I think that wraps up our session today. Would love to connect further in our over coffee or something sometime. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks. Take care. Bye.